Oh, yes, the ongoing soap opera as the Trump turns. I'm trying to come up with, Days of Our Lives, Trump's Days of Our... Again, the ongoing soap opera never ends, never ends. And let's go through some of the stories over the past bloody 24 hours. So you got this court case taking place, and Donald Trump's lawyer made the argument. It was funny yesterday is watching the folks over at Fox News scramble. They were in cover your ass. No, it was not cover your ass. It's CTA, cover Trump's ass mode last night in regards to some of the statements that were made. This appeals court hearing, Trump's lead lawyer, John Sauer, made an argument for executive immunity, saying that only a president who has been impeached and removed from office by Congress could be criminally prosecuted. So basically, the argument is that the president could always be shielded from any sort of criminal prosecution. And one of the judges asked Sauer, could a president who ordered SEAL Team 6 to assassinate a political rival and is not impeached, would he be subject to criminal prosecution? And Sauer responded, if he were impeached and convicted first, there is a political process that would have to occur. Oh boy. Again, what a frickin' mess this has turned into. I understand the constitutional implications. Would it be, that out of, every Congress going to try to impeach a president to hold them accountable for things that they did in office? Again, you're talking about an absolute cesspool of nonsense that's taking place in Washington, D.C. right now. Talk about this other statement. I didn't even know this exists. The MyPillow guy, I guess he's got his own network out there. And Donald Trump was on, Lou Dobbs has got a show on Lindell TV. Anyway, Donald Trump said he expects the economy to crash. And he's hoping that the downturn comes during the next year before he would take office. And when there's a crash, I hope it's going to be during these next 12 months because I don't want to be Herbert Hoover. Yeah. Again, Hoover didn't get elected in 1932 after the 1929 stock market crash. Again, why would you say that? It's not a good look. It doesn't sound very good that you're hoping for a crash. You're expecting a crash to happen and you hope it happens under Biden so you look good. I'm sorry. I would answer the question. He said, God willing, I hope that there isn't any economic crash. Our economy needs a lot that we have to change, and we have to focus on growth in the private sector rather than the government. But God forbid there is a crash. I would say, I hope it happens when I am in a position when I could actually do the things that are necessary to help the economy. That's just me. It's not Donald Trump. That's me. That's okay. Super Trumpsters, they'll disregard that like usual. Again, this is the other thing too. This is the other thing that I'm watching transpire in Washington right now, and it's a bit of a joke to me. It hasn't been a lot out of these Fauci hearings about what COVID-19 and the response. But Real Clear Politics put out a piece today, Philip Wegman, and he made some really good points about the people that are actually going to question Fauci and are sitting on this committee. They're very anxious to go after Fauci, but when it comes to Donald Trump, who stood by Fauci, they're all in support of him. Here's some quotes. This is Brad Wenstrup, Ohio Republican. He chairs the Senate subcommittee on the coronavirus pandemic that is going to grill Dr. Fauci behind closed doors. It's time for Dr. Fauci to confront the facts and address the numerous controversies that have arisen during and after the pandemic. Okay. There's got 9 Republicans on the subcommittee. They all, made their comments about Fauci, and quite frankly, rightfully so. But 4 out of the 9 have already endorsed Donald Trump. And obviously, you've got Marjorie Taylor Greene, who's in that mix. She's calling for Fauci to be in jail. Now, again, Fauci, face of the COVID task force. He was a guy. The lockdowns, the mask mandates, all of the measures that were put in place. But guess what? He worked for Trump. Last time I remember, correct me if I'm wrong, was it not Fauci and Trump sharing the podium every single day at 4:00? I don't even like thinking about that period of time. It's like a nightmare to me. I don't even like thinking about it. It's how bad it was, because it was just, again, there was so much stupidity around that. And again, stupidity for whatever reason has an adverse effect on me. I have a very difficult time dealing with it. It's unfortunate that stupidity doesn't hurt the people that are actually exercising the stupidity. It hurts everybody else. Anyway, again, Trump, did he contradict Fauci from time to time up there? Sure, but when all's said and done, he went along with it. He gave Fauci a commendation for his work. Let's talk about Ron DeSantis. He talked about Fauci, and he asked the question. He says, are we going to have some type of accountability? He says, we going to have a reckoning for this? Or are we just going to act like everyone did just such a great job? Again, he's got a point. And again, all of the people that are on this committee, they're, talking about Trump. He will, once again, put Americans first. Okay. Let's talk about Fauci. I know people, he's a civil servant. You can't fire him. You don't have to listen to him. You can push him to the side. And I've talked about Dr. Scott Atlas that was there, and they didn't listen to him. They refused to listen to him. They didn't want to listen to what he was saying. Again, it wasn't politically expedient at the time. Trump has given different accounts for why he deferred to Fauci's judgment. Hugh Hewitt asked why he never removed Fauci. Trump replied that he was not allowed to fire him, and claimed that Fauci wasn't a big player in my administration. Wasn't a big player? Come on, man. Come on. And I'm sorry, you super Trumpsters out there. Do you honestly believe that statement? He wasn't a big player? Are we not watching the same thing? Do we not go through the same thing as a country, for crying out loud? Megyn Kelly asked Trump about the presidential commendation, and Trump pled ignorance. He said, I don't know who gave him the commendation. I really don't know who gave him the commendation. Someone probably handed him a commendation. You signed it. Again, some of the Trump guys, again, it's very difficult to fire Fauci. And he said that other members of the COVID task force had a resignation pact. If one person was fired, all would resign. So what? Bring in another crew. Again, Atlas from Stanford University's Hoover Institution. He called for a completely different strategy, and that was adopted by the state of Florida. And it worked. Another statement by DeSantis, 21st century, the 3 biggest events, 9/11 and the wars that followed, the Great Recession, and then COVID. And he said the virus had a broader impact than the other 2 events combined. And yet here we are. We're not even discussing that. Yep, I agree with you, Ron. But again, you got to get the people in Iowa and New Hampshire and all the other people with the horsey blinders on to actually see the forest for the trees. WatchDog on Wall Street. WatchDog.com.